All right, good afternoon. Couple of programming notes. Monica is not briefing today, but she's asked me to tell you that the President of the General Assembly, Dennis Francis, will speak to you at the press stakeout today, so sometime around 4:30, on the call for action and the wrap-up of Sustainability Week. And that will be, of course, the General Assembly press stakeout area. On Monday, we are planning to have Catherine Colonna here to brief you around 12:30 or so. She is leading, as you know, the independent review of the UN Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East, better known as UNRWA. Then on Tuesday, we expect the Commissioner General of that agency, Philippe Lazzarini, to be here in person to brief you as well. And I will also be briefing you on both days. So, I know. Can't escape me. As you saw, we issued a statement this morning in which the Secretary General reiterated that it is high time to stop the dangerous cycle of retaliation in the Middle East. The Secretary General condemns any acts of retaliation and appeals to the international community to work together to prevent any further development that could lead to devastating consequences for the entire region and beyond. Quick humanitarian update from Gaza on Wednesday and Thursday. That's yesterday and the day before. We were able to transfer into Gaza 15 of 30 trucks brought by the United Nations to enhance aid delivery. The purchase and shipment of those trucks is being funded by the Humanitarian Fund for the OPT at a cost of almost $3.5 million US. Meanwhile, we've received information that some 270,000 tons of solid waste have now accumulated across the Gaza Strip. That's according to the Union of Gaza Strip Municipalities. That's what they're telling us. This is creating, as you can imagine, an environmental and public health catastrophe. The destruction of waste management facilities and medical waste disposal centers has severely hampered the collection and disposal of solid waste by municipalities. Turning to give you further update of the context. Let's try this again. It is Friday. Our colleagues at OCHA, the Office of the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, say that ongoing hostilities in Gaza and the destruction of roads and the prevalence of unexploded ordnance continue to pose significant risks for humanitarian workers. These challenges are also impeding the physical movement of aid supplies across the Gaza Strip. This is in addition to fuel supply constraints, delays and insecurity at checkpoints on the coastal road, restriction of on telecommunications equipment being able to be brought in, and an insufficient number of drivers and trucks cleared by Israel to use the fence road. Since the beginning of the war, most trucks used for transporting aid have been damaged or destroyed, and the fleet available in Gaza is extremely limited. But as I told you, we did bring in some more trucks. Turning to Ukraine, the humanitarian coordinator in the country, Denise Brown, condemned yet another deadly strike in the country, this time in the city and region of Dnipro that took place earlier today. Local authorities and aid workers on the ground say the attacks killed and injured civilians, including children, and damaged civilian buildings and infrastructure. The cities of Dnipro and Kryvyi Rih, okay, thank you, with a combined population of 1.5 million people, and several other locations across the region were reportedly hit. Humanitarian workers are on site in Dnipro, complementing the efforts of rescue services and first responders. Humanitarian organizations are also providing hot meals for impacted people, rescue workers, and emergency shelter kits to repair damaged infrastructure and homes. Meanwhile, the ongoing hostilities today and yesterday in the frontline Donetsk region in eastern Ukraine reportedly killed and injured dozens of civilians and damaged homes and civilian infrastructure. And that's what we're hearing from local officials. Our Deputy Secretary General, Amina Mohammed, is in Washington, D.C. She's there to attend the spring meetings of the World Bank and the IMF. Today, she spoke at the Brookings Institution on building an international financial architecture that is fair and that is fit for purpose. She also described the role of this September Summit of the Future in seeking political consensus on the agenda. Ms. Mohammed was also at the opening of the Global Education Forum, and there she stressed the importance of global efforts to transform education financing, to build on the Secretary General's call to action on education financing during the Transformation Education Summit. Ms. Mohammed, in addition, participated at in the World Bank and IMF Development Committee's plenary meeting and held a number of bilateral meetings, including with Axel von Trotzenberg, the senior managing director at the World Bank. She also joined Anna Bjerde, managing director of operations at the bank, and Jutta Upilianen, the EU Commissioner for International Partnerships, for a trilateral meeting on strengthening programmatic collaboration between the United Nations, the World Bank, and the European Union. This afternoon, the Security Council will convene for a meeting on Sudan. Briefing will be Rosemary DiCarlo, Under-Secretary General for Political and Peace-Building Affairs, as well as Edem Wosornu, the Director of Operations and Advocacy at OCHA. We will share those remarks with you. And update from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, where our peacekeeping mission tells us they've handed over their Bunyakiri base to the Congolese armed forces. This is in the context of the mission's disengagement from South Kivu province. This was the first transfer of a base to military authorities. Our peacekeeping colleagues describe this as a pivotal step of disengagement efforts that also reflects the Congolese army's commitment to strengthening its presence as the mission withdraws from South Kivu province. The base, located about 80 kilometers from the city of Bukavu, was first established in 2004, first as a mobile operating base, and then became fully fledged permanent operating base in 2016. More online. And turning to Haiti, our political mission there, BINU, tells us that for the first trimester of 2024 has been the most violent recorded since the beginning of 2022. Our human rights colleagues say over 2,500 cases of murder and injuries linked to gang violence. That's a 53% increase compared to the previous period, which was December of last year. As you can imagine, most of the instances of murder and injuries were documented in the capital in Port-au-Prince, but the report adds that the departments of Artibonite was also strongly impacted by this violence. The report states that the impact of violence on children's rights continues to be extremely alarming and adds that sexual violence continues to be used by gangs. The full report is online, and I encourage you to take a look at it. On the humanitarian end, today we can report that UNICEF and its partners continue to deploy mobile clinics to provide consultations, medical treatments, and other health care to children and families as displacement sites. Our colleagues say that Haiti's social services are on the brink of collapse amid persistent violence in the capital and medical supplies being at an alarmingly low rate. Earlier today in Geneva, the High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, spoke at the closing session of the Permanent Forum on People of African Descent. He urged stronger action against racial discrimination and other terrible legacies of enslavement and colonial oppression, adding that addressing these legacies was key to the Human Rights Office's agenda towards transformative change for racial justice and equality. This agenda calls, among other things, on states to deliver reparatory justice. Mr. Turks also supported the proclamation of a second international decade for people of African descent, so we can build on the gains made so far and address the ongoing challenges. His remarks are available to you. We have a new resident coordinator, and that is James T. Bott of Nigeria as the UN resident coordinator in the Comoros. He starts tomorrow, now that he's gotten the approval of the host government. Mr. Bott brings more than 25 years of experience in humanitarian development and peacekeeping work. He currently serves as the head of service of civil affairs in the peacekeeping mission in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and we congratulate him. A couple of international days to flag to you. Tomorrow is Chinese Language Day. It is. Even Deji agrees. Yeah. I assume that's something nice.
Oh, that's just the translation of yes.
Yes, okay. And how, exactly. And just as a reminder that Language Days at the United Nations celebrate multilingualism and cultural diversity, on Sunday we mark World Creativity and Innovation Day, which is a day to be always good when it coincides with a Sunday. This day raises awareness of the role of creativity and innovation in all aspects of human development. Up to you to ask me a creative question. Maggie.
I will kick it off for you, Steph. How about a readout from the Secretary General's meeting yesterday with the Iranian Foreign Minister?
I mean, during the meeting, as you can imagine, the Secretary General reaffirmed his position that he'd expressed in the Security Council meeting in relation to the Iranian attack on Israel and the need for maximum restraint.
Okay, wait, I'm not done. And a readout on his meeting with Madame Colonna today, perhaps?
He was briefed on the status of the report, and which is supposed to be handed over tomorrow officially, and we will have Madame Colonna here on Monday.
And on Sudan, I know we're having a briefing this afternoon, but the Secretary General said on Monday that Al-Fasher in North Darfur was under imminent risk of attack. Do you have any updates for us?
I do not have at this point. I do expect some this afternoon. Edie, then Augusta, then Amélie. Yeah.
Thank you, Steph. Are we going to get Madame Colonna's report before her press conference?
We will do whatever we can to make your life easier. Within our power. Augusta, yes, please.
Thank you, Steph. Could we get a readout on Ms. Kagg's meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu?
Sure. They, as you will not be surprised, discussed the implementation of her mandate, but she also briefed him on what she saw firsthand in Gaza during the time she was there, notably in Khan Yunis.
Sorry, just an unrelated question. But will Ms. Colonna brief the Security Council on Monday?
No,
Okay.
that is not on the cards. She will, I've no doubt, be meeting with donors, but I'm not aware of a Security Council meeting. Amélie.
Still on UNRWA, you said a few days ago that the OIOS investigation was about to finish and that you would have information for us soon. Do you have any?
As soon as I have more, I will share it with you. This is going good. Bissam.
There was a CNN report this morning that the Biden administration has reached or secured an agreement with the World Food Program regarding the peer and distribution of aid. I don't know if you have anything to share with us on this?
No, I have not. I don't have anything specific to share with you on that. Frankly, I hadn't seen that report, so I will.
Okay.
Because
it has a lot of meaty information in it.
No, I have no doubt, but to just restate what we've said before is that obviously we are ready to support any delivery of humanitarian aid by air, by sea, but most importantly by land, because that's the most productive. But that any aid that the UN distribution aid is involved in needs to be done within the parameters of the humanitarian principles of the United Nations, which is notably independence. Madame.
Thank you, Steph. I just wanted to know if you have a reaction to the arrest of more than 100 students at Columbia University yesterday while they were protesting Israel attacks in Gaza and demanding that the school divest from companies who are claimed to be profiting from Israeli apartheid.
As a matter of principle, wherever we see demonstrations, we believe that people have an inherent right to demonstrate peacefully.
Sorry, thank you, Stéphane. Can you just say whether or not the Secretary General has had any contact with Iran since the alleged attack on...
Since yesterday?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. And a procedural question after yesterday's Security Council meeting and the veto of the resolution to recognize the Palestinians. Is there a way forward in the General Assembly without the Security Council that
For
you know of?
membership?
Yes, because there was, the last time the Palestinians being recognized as an observer state came from a GA assembly meeting that was not referred by the Security Council.
The issue of membership, right, is full members, is laid out in the charter, and that's the path that needs to be followed. Deji.
Speaking of the veto, does Secretary General have anything to say to Palestinian people on the result of the Security Council vote?
The Secretary General's message to the Palestinian people is one of solidarity, is a message that he continues to drive the United Nations, notably its humanitarian work, to support the Palestinian people, and one, to encourage and to continue to encourage all of the parties to move towards a two-state solution. Happiest of weekends, though last time I said that did not turn out so well, did it? Yeah.